Now, Christianity and the KKK has nothing to do with the Bible. Religion has nothing to do with the Bible. Just because they use the Bible don't mean that they have something to do with the Bible. You can't say Christianity, but you're really talking about the Bible. No. You can't say the Ku Klux Klan and you really talking about the Bible. They have nothing to do with the Bible. You see, these two entities are philosophies of man. And that's the problem with these religions and these philosophies. Now, when you go into Colossians, it talks about the philosophies of man. And it warns you. It say, beware. You see, because this is what's going to be a snare to those who the Bible was written to and who the Bible was made for. Now, in Colossians, the 2nd chapter, verse 8 say, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ, who in the Hebrew, his name is Yahushua. Now, when you go to James, he talks about religion, because that's another word that they throw onto and try to connect to the Bible when it has nothing to do with the Bible, like Christianity and the Ku Klux Klan. The 1st chapter of James, starting at verse 26, if any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. 27. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Now, this fatherless and widows in their affliction is a specific people. This is not everybody, because he's letting you know when he say, and keepeth himself unspotted from the world, meaning he's not mixing with the world. And in James 4:4, he goes on to tell you that if a man have friendship with the world, he's made himself an enemy of God. So who is these fatherless and widows that's in their affliction? They're the people that don't know who their father is. They don't know what nation they come from. They don't know their identity, their bloodline. They are fatherless. And it's only one nation on earth that's like that. It's the children of Israel. The children of Israel are so-called slaves, but they're really just a nation in captivity and in servitude to the other nations. And they're God's chosen people. And the Bible is all about the Israelites. It lets you know what happened in the beginning and how it all came to be, where he chose one nation that's called Israel, that he surnamed. When you go to Isaiah 40, 45 and 46, he talks about how he surnamed these Israelites and made them his servants and chose them. In Isaiah 45:17, he said they will have an everlasting salvation. There will be a world without end. They would never end. You see? They will not be done away with and rejected and none of that. No. Once he made the statement that there would be a world without end. And so these fatherless Israelites, they were scattered into slavery into all nations. And they didn't understand that they was Israelites. They was fatherless. They didn't know who their father was. They didn't know their father was Israel, who was given the promises in the Bible. And so that's who needed to be visited. That's the religion that a man, an Israelite man, need to have. If he's not going to visit the fatherless, he's not going to preach to the fatherless, he don't know, his religion is vain. You see, Christianity is not trying to preach and tell the fatherless that they are the children of Israel. They're not black, they're not African American, they're not Negroes, they're not colored people, they're not Afro-Americans, they're not Africans, they're not Hamites. You see, they're not going to tell the fatherless, the people that lost their identity, that they are the children of Israel and they need to be separate from the world. That's not the message of Christianity, and it's definitely not the message of the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan is an organization that uses the symbol of the cross, and they terrorize the children of Israel. They're specifically made and set up to terrorize the children of Israel. These fatherless children has nothing to do with the Bible, just because you wear a symbol of the cross. The Catholic Church and all of these religions of Christianity, different denominations of Christianity that uses the cross. Just because you use the cross and put it on your church, it has nothing to do with the Bible and what the meaning of the Bible is. And so these individuals are following the philosophy of the nation that got the children of Israel blinded and in captivity. Now, the children of Israel, the reason that they're fatherless is because they broke the commandments. And being fatherless was one of the punishments or judgments of the Most High, Yahweh, who they ignorantly call God. Now, when you go to Jeremiah 17, verse 4, it says, "And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine inheritance that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." So they had to discontinue from their inheritance. You see, the Israelites had to discontinue from their inheritance. Plus, when they disobeyed the Most High, they had to go through a list of punishments. And from Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 68. And just to bring out one that will give you the whole idea, in Deuteronomy 28:48, it say, "Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." Verse 49, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar." You see, he brought a nation against the Israelites. So he took their identity and he sent a nation to put them in captivity and spread them around into all the nations. And that's who the Ku Klux Klan is a part of. They're a part of that nation. And these Christianity philosophies are a part coming from that nation. And so they have nothing to do with the Bible. The Bible was written for the Israelites. It wasn't written for the nation that the Lord sent to put the Israelites in captivity. You see, the Catholic Church, the Protestant churches that spring from the Catholic Church, the Ku Klux Klan, they all are philosophies of this nation that God sent to put the Israelites in captivity. And this nation is identified in Joel. When you go to Joel, it gives you much details in Joel where you don't get confused, because this has a modern term in there where you can identify the people. So when you go to Joel, and you can start at verse chapter 4, it say, "And what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine?" So that's two sets of individuals. Tyre and Zidon was the Hamites, and the coast of Palestine, is the Arabs, you can call them, or the Ishmaelites or Elamites. And then you have in verse 6, it said, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that you might move them far away from their border. So the Grecians was the individuals that had these peoples in slavery. Now, not only is Joel will identify the enemies that the Lord sent against the nation of Israel, when you go to Amos, it identifies all those three characters, and it's the book right behind Joel. It says in verse 6, it say the Gaza, that's the Arabs. They carried the whole captivity of Israel and handed them unto Edom. So now it connects Edom to the Grecians, the Greeks. Verse 9, Tyrus, that's the Hamites. They delivered up the nation of Israel to Edom. Verse 11, it gives Edom, they will get punished for putting the children of Israel in captivity. And so all of these peoples are identified, but the main person is the nation of Edom, who has these philosophies out here of the Ku Klux Klan, the Catholic Church, the Christianity churches, because none of those religions or philosophies have anything to do with the Bible. They just holding the Bible as a symbol, and they pushing their philosophies. The Bible is not teaching that. That's not the doctrine of the Bible. Definitely the Ku Klux Klan is not the doctrine of the Bible, and the Catholic Church is definitely not the doctrine of the Bible. To worship Mary and all of this kind of stuff, and God got Mary pregnant, and Joseph didn't have sex with Mary, and all of this. Celebrate holidays and doing all kind of wickedness. None of that has nothing to do with the Bible. Just like the Ku Klux Klan burning crosses in people's yard, none of that has nothing to do with the Bible. It's all a philosophy of the nation of Edom that put the Israelites in captivity on off of slave ships. When you go to Deuteronomy 28:68, it lets you know that nation with the Hamites and the Arabs put the nation of Israel on slave ships and brought them to this Babylon the Great into captivity and slavery. So none of them philosophies that these Edomites came up with has nothing to do with the Bible. And I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Death to America. Death to these red dragons. Shalom.